welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 177. Today, we're going to be breaking down last week's state of play for 007 First Light. And joining me for the first time on twitch.tv/Spotlight Games Pod, we've torn him away from his family, the Dan Good Show. Dan, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
I am so good. I'm so happy to be here. We just pushed it to tomorrow. It's totally fine.
Oh, there you go.
Totally fine. There's no schisms in my family. We're okay.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I would hope that I wouldn't be the reason for that, but you never know. I've made a lot of people mad this week on the internet.
If there's someone that could separate me from my family, it would be you.
Stop it. You honor me. Some behind the scenes for folks. I've asked Dan a few times to do some content, and it just so happens to be I always ask him when he's already got streaming plans, and he was kind enough to say, you know what? This time I will ask my own people to move. So we do appreciate it. For those of that are in the audience that don't know the Dan Good Show, Dan, tell us about yourself. What kind of games do you like? What kind of content do you make? Do you have a game of the year this year? Do you have a favorite game of all time? The soapbox is yours.
Understood. So games that I love, primarily games that I no longer have time for. Because I am a new dad. I do have a 4-month-old. They are the 100-hour RPGs that I have a compulsion to do every single side quest in until I hate playing the game anymore, and I don't beat it. That's kind of how I play most RPGs. But so things like Dragon Age, Origins, one of my all-time favorite games. That's I had mentioned on your Discord. Everyone.
That's right. What a game
for the drop in drop out Discord. Dragon Age Origins is one that that's where I started to stop reading and I started finding games to read. So
sure.
Dragon Age Origins is that's the one that I pick.
That's funny. So, if I can quickly interject,
yeah, of course.
On your soapbox, if I could just step up for a second. What do you remember? What year Dragon Age Origins came out? 2007-ish, 8-ish,
something like
roughly that general time frame.
Yes.
I asked for it for Christmas that year, and my sister got it for me, but I was so impatient that I had scrounged up my own money and I went and bought it myself, and was playing it in secret and didn't tell anybody. And then I open it and she's like, "Oh my God, are you so excited?" I was like, "Yeah." And for some reason my 16-year-old self couldn't lie. It's like, "Yeah, I actually have already played it for 30 hours and it's amazing." But now, and she's like, "What?" I was like, "Ooh, I should have said that, huh? I should have lied and pretended." And she was not happy with me that I had just bought what I asked for Christmas. But we are aligned. I love the big RPGs.
Yes. So in terms, on that, probably winds up being, I would put that in maybe my top 10.
Nice.
I feel like I currently sit probably Last of Us Part 2 being my favorite game. It's kind of where I fall on that. There's a bunch of different fantasy open world RPGs that are in that range. Witcher 3 would be a one for sure.
Sure.
Skyrim, of course. That kind of stuff is what I gravitate towards all the time. Big JRPG fan as well. Okay. So love the Final Fantasy series. In terms of what I'm playing now, is mostly Death Stranding 2.
Nice.
I am 60 hours into it, and my understanding is I'm only halfway through the game, which is unfortunate.
Wow, 60 hours, only half. It's been a while since I played it, but that seems like I don't think I put 120 hours into that game.
I certainly don't want to.
Yeah,
but I do love the game. That's why I go back to. There's a compulsion. There's a voice in my head that's you absolutely don't need to do this, but you won't sleep tonight if you don't do it. So that's where we're at. I just finished episode 7. I feel I think there's 14 episodes.
There is. And some of the later ones, and I won't spoil anything, but some of the later ones are shorter.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
So I'm thinking that maybe we got 30 to 40 hours left.
Okay. All right.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
So the problem is that 50 hours is my threshold for when I'm over a game, regardless of if it was my favorite game of all time an hour beforehand.
Sure.
So we're in dangerous territory at hour 60. But that sounds good.
Yeah.
So that's mostly what I've been playing.
Cool.
In terms of content that I do, I am streaming that on Twitch. So I do stream twice a week. We won't talk about the one that conflicts with this fantastic podcast. Which I am happy to move my streams around in the future as well. But I also do every Sunday, now at noon EST. I would call that one a variety stream. So it's whatever adventure game caught my interest. So
Nice.
Dragon Age Veilguard, we've done Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Indiana Jones. So it's kind of like it's all over the place. It's like
Yeah.
whatever single player game has caught my eye, that's what we play.
Nice. And you typically just stick with the full playthrough, right?
Yep. Yeah, it is. It's a first playthrough until credits roll. That is the goal.
Hell yeah. Also,
Which
Jake
is challenging
in the
with Death
chat.
Stranding 2.
Oh, for sure. Such a big game. Jake in the chat says, just noticing that Dan is basically a hotter, younger Patrick. Look, I wasn't going to say that. Now there's just another bearded glasses white dude on the podcast, but it is true.
I think Patrick has much better hair than me, and a much nicer voice than me. So with that information,
with our powers combined, we are the perfect human being. It seems
the fusion, and there we go.
Exactly. Well, we
very
have a
attractive
lot.
podcast host.
Stop it. We have a lot of video game stuff to talk about because this is the Spotlight Games podcast. Where each week we spotlight the latest and the greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Spotlight Games Pod or by searching for Spotlight Games Pod in your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in as we record live Tuesdays right here on twitch.tv/Spotlight Games Pod, just like Rabbit128, Cognitive Clips, the homie Jake Twitchin, Blaster Goblin, who has a very funny comment that I'll get to in just 1 second, and of course, Sirius Shard. Be like them. Follow us on Twitch. They notified when we go live, so you can be part of the conversation. I'd be remiss if I didn't pull the car over for a second and read Blaster Goblin's comment. He said, based off what I know about the nameplates on this show, I'm surprised to learn his legal first name is The Dan Good Show. Hey, when you're born in Ohio, anything's possible.
That's right.
As we both are or were. Housekeeping for us in the Dido sphere, in the Spotlight Games sphere. Last night, our friends at Video Game Book Club over on JK Games talked about dark, cozy games. That is probably up on podcast services. I haven't kept my eye on the Discord super well today. Maybe it's not. But anyway, you should follow them and make sure you get caught up on Video Game Book Club. They brought High Score Weekly on, who is a regular here at Spotlight Games as well. And then later this week, for those of you in the chat or listening who also come to twitch.tv/drop-in-drop-out-pod, we're switching things up a little bit. We're going to do a Friday night episode this week instead of a Thursday night episode. Why, Patrick? I hear you screaming from your car. Borderlands 4 comes out on Friday, and so we're going to do a Borderlands retrospective. We're going to talk about all of the games in the franchise, what we like, what we don't like, and also some very initial first impressions of Borderlands 4. But then that's not it. Once we finish the podcast, we're doing a 4-player co-op stream. Right now, the working crew is myself, Jerica, Jake, and I believe Cayman will be joining for that. So
nice.
Twitch.tv/drop-in-drop-out-pod this Friday. We're going to start the podcast around 8 and then just go until we are bleeding from our eyes, probably. And finally, Dan already mentioned it, but join the Discord, drop-in-drop-out-pod.com. I almost said .com. Join the Discord. We have a fun Discord. We goof off about video games. We talk about things. We scream at each other. It's been very aggressive lately, but in a very loving way, all about Hollow Knight Silksong. But over on Drop In Drop Out, we often read things from the Discord, whether you like it or not. So join the Discord. It's fun. You should. I think you should. And I think Dan thinks you should too.
Yeah.
If I can speak for him. Or else, exactly. Yeah. Dan, we heard a very little bit about what you've been playing, but we do often start our shows here at Spotlight Games Pod with what we've been playing. So you talked about Death Stranding 2.
Yes.
We're jumping right in. What do you think about what is currently my number 3 game of the year?
Number 3. So I think it's for sure 2 for me.
Yeah.
I think I still sit with Expedition 33 being 1, even though I don't love the third act of that game personally. Same. But Death Stranding 2 is Death Stranding 1 better in every single way. In every single way. It's just an easier game to play. It's an easier game to dive into. I think even if you're not familiar with the story of Death Stranding, I think you could easily find a 10 to 15 minute YouTube recap online for the first game. And the second game does a good enough job with its new encyclopedia system that as terms are being thrown at you, you can pause everything. You can read something really quick. You can either read a short version or a long version of it. So I think it's very accessible, even if you haven't played the first game. Australia is beautiful.
Oh my God.
It's so like I just got into like newer biomes. Like the whole first game is supposed to be like North America. It just looks like Iceland.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring. Like I love the
Yeah.
first game. It just looks kind of boring. It's the same. And it's so nice as you're progressing through this story. Like just the terrain changes just enough to keep it engaging for you. Like I said, like 60 hours in, like I'm still the next thing is still it's exciting to get to the next thing. So
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. Although the pizza chef kind of pissed me off.
Why
That
did it
was
piss you off? Talk to me.
that was like my this fucking guy. Like,
Sure.
like my wife was in the living room when I got to that point. The second scene for the pizza chef, I won't give like super details, but I it has nothing to do with the chef. It has everything to do with Kojima. I was like,
Yes.
I just multiple times I was just like, this fucking dude. Like we just I don't need this. You know what I mean?
See, that's where you and I disagree. I
Okay.
do need the second Pizza
Okay.
Man scene. Yeah, no, it is, especially after playing Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, the remake, of course. It just Cognitive Clips in the chat says, is anyone familiar with the story? Is Kojima himself? I feel like Kojima obviously gets a lot of love, and I think a lot of it is deserved. But I think something that I don't hear enough of is that I just love that we have somebody as big as Kojima that takes as big of fucking swings as he do. Because if he don't do, then who else is gonna do? Dan, you know what I'm saying?
Right. You're so right.
And like I just love weird shit, and we get so much weird shit in like movies and television and fucking theater. Don't get me started. Make weirder shit in video games, and I think Kojima is like the biggest one to do that, and I'm a big fan. But I also know that sometimes it can be like story breaking and immersion breaking when there's a man. I won't say it. Oh, I won't spoil it.
The pizza chef specifically is like there's a very specific plot point where you learn how the like network in these games is made, and it's very sad and it's very like rated M mature, and then you immediately move to the only way you can make the next connection. Nobody trusts you, so you have to make friends with the pizza chef and deliver pizza to a VTuber, an engineer, and there's one other. And I'm like, what the
yeah.
Making friends with the pizza chef to deliver pizza to the VTuber to make Northern Australia happy. Following that,
when you put it that way,
it's a bit much. It's a bit much. I like the concept of the Death Stranding. I think Kojima is awesome. I totally agree. More developers need to make more weird stuff. That's like a smidge. We're a level or two off a little bit for me.
That's fair. It's a game that I like. It just comes back into my mind when I least expect it. And because I've talked about on the show before where I'm really hot on games to start, and then like the longer I get from them, they just like nosedive down my game of the year list. Where just like I think more about it. I'm like, you know what? I think I just got caught up in the hype. And Death Stranding has stuck around. It's only dropped down one slot for Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is another game you have been playing.
Yes. Not as much because, again, most of the time I do have a 4-month-old. So most of my gaming time is relegated to my streams. But Bonanza is the primary game that I'm playing outside of streaming. So right now I'm in like the ice cream sundae level, which I love. The zebra Bonanza one.
Oh my God.
It's such a
zebra.
It's so fun.
It's so good.
I prefer Kong Bonanza.
Me too. That is my favorite.
Okay. I sing that one to my son and he like lights up. Like that's how I first got him to laugh, was singing Kong Bonanza to him.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah. So it's such a fun game to get. It doesn't look like a game that you can get lost in.
Yeah.
But you just start smashing through the floor and just see what happens. And it doesn't get old.
Correct.
Like I'm constantly doing the clap just to see like what fossil I can get, what gem I can get, and you just get totally. It looks so linear, and it's like so incredible how unlinear or non-linear you can make it. I'm having so much fun with it.
Yeah, it's a game that I am shocked. Like at the beginning of the year, I don't think, because I'm not a big 100% guy. Like
Mhm.
Cayman is the platinum trophy hunter in the family. I get them every now and then. I probably have like 40 of them all time. I used to go after them a lot more in my youth, but there was something about Bonanza that I just could not put down. And so yeah, I 100% in that game. I've done everything that you can do. I've unlocked everything you can do in that game. And it's like
That's a
700
lot.
yeah, it's like 780 bananas or
Yeah.
777. Yeah, that's right. Because it's just so, like what you said, you just get lost. And it's like all of a sudden I've been playing for 4 hours and I'm bleeding tears, and but I'm having the best time because I keep
Absolutely.
hearing the Donkey Kong Bonanza theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it easier to pursue the fossils than the
Yeah.
bananas, just
Yeah.
because I keep the tie on that makes chests appear more often as you're smashing things.
Yeah.
And that chest will often pop a treasure map for a fossil. But at least to my knowledge, there aren't treasure maps for the bananas that pop that way. So it's just like as I'm tearing through the map, I'm like, it's just giving me those checks to go get the fossils. And
There are banana maps that you
okay.
will unlock. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you can buy them. I just don't know that they pop
They do pop from
via the
chests.
chest. Okay.
They do. Yeah.
Amazing.
Eventually, I
Okay.
guess. But yeah, it did get to a point where I started having to buy the maps because there's just so many.
I mean, if you're
things.
going to go for the 100%, yeah.
You got to. You
Yeah.
got to. I'm going to talk about a couple games I've been playing, and then we'll get back to some other games you've been playing, Dan. But I want to ask you. So I have a handful, a couple that I can talk about at length.
Okay.
In terms of new games, though, Cronos: The New Dawn, Hollow Knight, Silksong. What are you more interested in hearing to start, Dan?
I have loved what I've heard from you from Silksong already.
Yeah.
I was cackling listening to the Drop and Drop Out episode
Yeah.
that you were so high on Silksong.
So-
I'm in particular am actually very interested in Cronos because I wasn't huge on the Silent Hill 2 remake. I also wasn't huge on the medium, but I cannot help but be interested in what Bloober Team is doing. And I unfortunately did not get a code for Cronos. I'm not playing it yet. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Cronos, I am so torn on this video game so far. I've put about, I'll say 3 hours into this game.
Okay.
And I streamed it a little bit over the weekend, a little surprise Spotlight Game stream right here on twitch.tv/Spotlight GameSpot. And before the stream was over, I board quit it and went and played Banisher's Ghost of New Eden instead.
Oh, no.
It was like friend of the show, Coal Mines, was in the chat, and he's like, man, this is not a fun game to watch stream. And I was like, oh, that's, I see that though. Like, I'm not having a very fun time playing the game.
Okay.
So I think if I'm not having fun, I'm sure you're not having fun either. So we pulled the car over, we played Banishers, which we had a great time, and I can't wait to play more of that game. But afterward, so up until that point, my issue with Cronos was the gameplay so far had felt incredibly rote, very much just point the gun, shoot it. Like, there's two options with your gun. You can either hold it and shoot like a charged shot, or you cannot. And like the non-charged shot is just a waste. Like, it doesn't do anything. You're just wasting what very, very, very little ammunition you have. And the narrative at that point it was very like environmental storytelling forward at that point. Like there had been some dialogue, but like very, very little. It was very much just like vibes to start. The first, I'd say, hour is vibes. And I was like, this is just really not working for me. And I gave it like a day or two, and I picked it back up, I guess Sunday at some point. And well, no, that maybe this was yesterday. It doesn't matter. I don't remember. But I was texting with Jordan, aka Cognitive Clips, and I was like, I just don't, because he got a code. I was like, I'm so interested to hear what you think about this game, because I am like really bored with it so far. But I was like, but I spent my own money. I didn't get a code. So like, I can't just drop this already. I spent $60 on it, and I am not having fun with Hollow Knight Silksong. So let me talk about, or let me go play some more Cronos. And not even 30 seconds later, I like if I had just stuck another 5 minutes on stream, I think everything would have turned around. Now I am much more interested in the story. I understand what I'm even doing in this world. This narrative structure that I think is kind of cool to like figure out yourself. So I kind of don't even want to like say what it is. But I will admit, in order to really get enough of like the story, I did go to Wikipedia and like read the plot synopsis up until where I was. And like, oh, that's what's happening. I
Okay.
see now. And then I got a couple cutscenes that like really explain that to me. It's like, okay, if I had been a little patient, it would have all come clear.
I mean,
But
like you said, you played like 3 hours of it,
right,
right? I mean, to me,
right,
3 hours is being patient.
for
But
sure.
the premise sounded super interesting to me.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you flipped on that because I was like, oh,
yeah.
maybe I won't get this now.
And
But
like
good. I'm glad you're back.
yeah, I am. And I think I don't know that yet I would fully recommend buying it, but I am certainly closer to that than I was when I last played it on stream. And I think part of that for me is it's really narrative focused because I think one thing that hasn't changed for me much is my gripes with the gameplay. I've unlocked another like section of the weapon. It's kind of like Control where you have your base weapon
Sure.
and then you get things that like add on to it. So you turn your pistol into a shotgun. Eventually, I assume I turned it into a machine gun and then another fourth thing that I can't think of right now. But
Sniper rifle or like a long
probably,
range.
probably. But I've come to this realization now that it seems just about every major combat encounter is built around using like explosives in the environment to win. And that just isn't really fun to me. Like it's getting to be a bit boring to always just kind of fall into the exact same loop.
Yeah.
Um,
Is it because of a scarcity of resources that it
It
does that?
is.
Okay.
It's a mixture of a scarcity of resources and also the way that they very purposefully designed your character, the traveler, to be slow and clunky. There's no
Okay.
dodge, there's no sprints, there's no roll, nothing like that. And so, and then on top of that, they want you to have to charge your weapon. So it's like the combat feels very heavy and slow. And so part of that is the enemies are very fast. Maybe I'll just say fast, not very fast,
Comparatively
and
fast.
comparatively fast. And the whole kind of concept is with combat, you don't want the enemies to merge because if they merge, they become more powerful, and they can
Okay.
merge with like things on the ground. It's giving Dead Space in that
Yeah.
way. So if there are dead enemies on the ground, they are a threat. Unless you can like burn them and get
Okay.
rid of the body kind of thing. But like the fire currency is very, very limited.
Okay.
So they very much want you to always kind of be on your guard and focus your combat on if something is going toward one on the ground. If I'm being attacked, fuck that. I need to focus on the guy that's about to get huge and strong because he's going to merge with another thing on the ground. And because of that, because these things become so powerful and they're already faster than me, I have decided that it doesn't really make sense to just shoot them if there are explosive things available,
Okay.
because those things are like basically one hit kills. So it's
And a
like,
burn as well, I would assume,
right.
to
And it
prevent
burns.
the
So it's like,
merging.
right. So it's like, okay, why would I waste what precious ammunition I
Yeah.
have to try to just force them down when I can just slowly walk over to this barrel of gas and blow them up? Now,
Yeah.
they're not always there. So like there are times when you have to do it the old fashioned way. And they're starting to introduce some new types of enemies, which is like kind of changing the formula. I was just in this area where I had to be very aware of like the walls, which was a new thing. So it's like, oh, okay, good. I'm seeing that they are making strides to try to change it up a little bit on me. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, so I definitely am more in now. I will share more thoughts later, either in the Discord or here on the show. But I think my parting message on Cronos would be, if you know you love a Bloober Team game, if you just really love survival horror and you want a new thing and you're interested in this game, I think you should get it. If you're going to take a chance on Kronos, I would say wait. Whether it's for a sale or go, watch a streamer get more kind of a hands-on feel from it before you go and spend $60. Because there's just so much out right now that's
Yeah.
like, if you don't know you're going to like something,
Yeah.
then you might as well do the research to make sure that you're going to like it, because there's going to be something out there that you're going to like. So yeah, that's the report on Chronos the New Dawn, which I am a little disappointed in. I was hoping, like, I was really hoping that that game was going to be like a sleeper top 5 for me,
Yeah,
because I just really love a survival horror game.
me
Like
too.
Resident Evil 2, one of my favorites of all time. But I don't know. We'll see. At the moment, I'm not going to crack the top 10, but we'll see.
Okay.
Um, and then Silksong. I've been playing Silksong. I yelled about it a lot over on twitch.tv/drop it drop it pop, but I do want to at least give an update for the people that care. Um, I've officially ended my time with Hollow Knight Silksong. And we're going to talk about it a little bit in one of the news stories, but I'm at a point where this game is just not for me, and that's fine. There are people out there like Rabbit128 that it's for, and I'm just not one of those people. And I think um, there is a whole conversation happening around the difficulty of this game that we will talk about in a little bit, that I find hilarious. That the community for this video game that is toxic, not the community like Rabbit, who is supportive and nice, basically being like, well, you just fucking suck at video games, you need to get good. For them to then release a patch that makes it easier, I think is just so funny, but we'll get there. Dan, and have you been playing any other games that you want to talk about before we start getting into some news?
So I would like to talk about two very briefly,
Yeah.
just because I like to shout out new games. That's
Yeah.
definitely my shtick as well. I have been playing a ton of a indie game called Discounty,
Yeah.
which is a indie management sim game. I love this game. It has this very addicting, like one more day feel to like when I should absolutely be asleep before the baby wakes me up. I want to play one more day. Like I want to see how much more money I can get for the shop, or like what quests I can complete to get a new item in there. There's tons of story updates and stuff too. Like there's a ominous vibe to the whole town. So like the quick premise is that you go into like this sleepy historic harbor town and you are helping a relative open up a local supermarket. But it's like a chain of a larger, pick your local grocery chain. And the town reacts to that in a very interesting way where they like you specifically, but they do not like the chain. And
Okay.
the better the chain does, the more it collides with the historic feel to the town. And there's some really great like anti-capitalist writing with basically every single town resident. Like they do a really nice job with the writing for it.
What
So
are
I
you
can't
playing this
recommend
on?
it. PC. And
Nice.
it's controller compatible as well. My wife is planning on getting it on the Switch because she's just watched me play it a little bit on
Cool.
PC. It felt like a mouse and keyboard game to me. I primarily am a controller player,
Yeah.
um, but the big thing is that like when I played the demo, you're running a register. And so I was like, okay, so a keypad makes sense. Like, let me do that. You very quickly get an upgrade that lets you use a barcode scanner instead. So if you are primarily a controller player and you're listening and that's like a turnoff for you, you
Oh,
very quickly
interesting.
get an upgrade that you end up rotating the packages so that they scan in the right spot, and they categorize things where it's like, produce, the barcode's on the bottom. And I was flying through stuff. Like I wouldn't even look at what the item was. I know what shape this is. I know what shape this is. I'm just like moving
Yeah.
people through this line. So I love that game. So I'd very much like to shout out that game.
I have seen there was some discourse about this game in the Discord. Wait, did we talk about it on JK Games? Maybe potentially. I
They
am
had mentioned
so in on
management
this game.
sims. Yeah,
Okay.
they had mentioned management sims, and that was something I popped in on the JK Games discussion. Kayla is playing it.
Cool.
I don't know if Jerica has picked it up, but I truly could not recommend it enough.
Yeah.
It is so much fun.
I've seen the name, but I've not seen a trailer. And watching that trailer just now, I'm like, oh, I am picking this up the second we were done recording.
It's
This
very
looks
good.
like so my shit,
Very
especially
good.
after playing Tiny Bookshop.
Yeah.
I'm all about being a little small business right now.
Yes.
And
Yeah. I listened to that episode and I was like, you all would really like this game. So I hope you do.
yeah. Oh God, I can't fucking wait. Also, Jake twitching in the chat with the "I think you should leave" reference. Always a way to get an easy smile from me. You said 2 games. That was only 1, Dan. What else you got?
Yes. So the other game I actually haven't bought yet, but is Hell Is Us.
Oh yeah,
there is a free demo. The reason I would like to shout that out in particular, one, I think it rules. Two, it released the same day as Silksong, which is tough.
sure.
They didn't know that, obviously, because we had a 1 week notice on Silksong, but the demo covers the whole first chapter. I put 2.5 hours in that game, and I will be buying it. I haven't
Cool.
bought it yet, but I will be buying it because it's just that world is very interesting. The way
Yeah.
they want you to explore the world is interesting. Where there is intentionally very little guidance. It's up to you
Yeah.
to have like conversations with NPCs or like find things on the ground that like guides you through it. On top of like your admittedly pretty typical action combat. There's not like a
Yeah.
ton innovative on that part, but the world exploration I think is very unique. Love it.
It unfortunately does sound like my nightmare, as the bit around my whole aesthetic with games is if it doesn't have a map, I don't care.
Yes. Yes.
However, I am a little interested in Hell Is Us, so I'm going to keep my eye on this game and see if it brings me in. But I would be lying if I said it didn't concern me that they just want me to go figure it out, because there's something about that element of a video game that just gives me so much stress.
Yes.
I
I was worried about that too. And
Yeah.
I would really encourage you to get the demo because the one thing, at least off the rip, you do have a compass. Because there was a conversation that I had with someone. They're like, "Oh, well, you go north and you follow these wind chimes that I set up." And I'm like, kind of like breaking out in hives. I'm like, "Well, okay, but I really don't want to waste time being lost." Like, I'm immediately nervous. But I quickly found a compass, and that was more than sufficient to get me
Good.
through.
Okay, good to know.
Whatever. It's not. You're put in biomes, so it's not like a massive open world, and you're just like fuck off in it. Like it's small zones to where having that little bit of conversationally telling you where to go is fine because the space is small.
Okay, I can fuck with that. A couple other really quick ones for me, and then we'll get into the news. Look, Dan, I don't know if you have been a part of the comeback of the backyard sports franchise, but backyard football released today, and you bet your sweet little ass I've already put in a couple games. I got Barry Sanders in the backfield, Steve Young slinging the pigskin.
Man.
I have named my team the Little
back.
Pansies. And we're going right to the Super Bowl or whatever they call it, the Backyard Bowl probably. But it's just like these little shots of nostalgia that every few months we get another backyard game released has been so healing for me. It's just been so much fun. I've played a lot of baseball and soccer, and both of those, I will say one really quick complaint I do have about this one, because I know the developers of Backyard Football 99 are listening right now. The previous two games worked well enough on the Steam Deck with the little touchpad on the Steam Deck that simulated the mouse. So you could just like rub it around and use it as the mouse pointer. Doesn't work on Football 99 for some reason. I got to be touching my screen, which just does not work as well. So this one will be I'm only playing it on the PC itself, which is a little disappointing, but I'm ready. You know, football season just started for the NFL. Now football season has started for the Backyard Football League, and I couldn't be more excited. And then since last podcast, I started and finished a quick game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown. It's like a tactical strategy game set in the world of TMNT. It's like 20 or $25. Really simple, but I don't play this genre a lot, so I'm a little bit of an unreliable narrator on that front. I say that to say, in the Discord, Noah was saying that he dropped off of it because he just felt like there was a bunch of other games that do everything better than this. But I had a great time. Like, I really enjoyed it. I think the TMNT of it all was enough for me to see it till credits, and there were just like some fun things with the environments that I don't think the trailer just did it a little bit, where it does this thing where as you're working through a level, the level will change. So like there will be these areas that it'll say, okay, this will disappear next turn, so you have to get out of it, and any of the enemies that stay there will die. And so like there's this fun give and take that it has with like pseudo traversal in a way, which isn't normally a big thing with this kind of game, in my experience, at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so if anything about that seemed like your jam, I had a really nice time with it. And it's from a studio that does a lot of really good shit, and they're kind of at the forefront in a lot of cool indie development isms right now with making sure games are made like in an environment that doesn't have crunch and that kind of thing, which I'm always a big fan of. So
the team.
Yeah, it's Strange Scaffold. So they do El Paso Elsewhere. I Am Your Beast was like kind of their most recent big one from last year. But I mean, they've already released like 6 games this year. Like they're churning and burning, and usually their games are pretty good quality. So big fan. Dan, we've been rambling enough about all the games we've been playing. We got some good news to talk about today. So often here at Spotlight Games, we're like, these people lost their jobs. Those people don't have a place in the industry anymore. But today we are celebrating 007 First Light State of Play from last week. We got about 30 or 40 minutes of this game. They showed us a big chunky gameplay walkthrough, like totally on like just the game. There was, it wasn't talking over it. They weren't doing that horrible thing where it's like scripted dialogue of real people like, oh, why don't you go try to do that around the corner? Like there wasn't any of that shit. It was just, here's the game. It was edited. Like
it's like very Ubisoft coded, I feel
right, exactly. And then afterward, they did a little bit of that of like, at this part in the game, we're trying to do this with James and these kinds of things. They talked a little bit about story and whatnot. And like, I am so in based on what we saw. Dan, what did you think about the First Light State of Play?
This was hot. So like when you sent me what we were going to go over, I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to watch this. And fortunately had enough time after work today that I could catch up. And I was like, who needs Uncharted? Like, right? I was like, I'm like extremely high on this. It way exceeded my expectations. So I like, we get this in March right?
next. Okay, they say probably August with the way that things typically go. But it does look really good already. So maybe we actually do. And they've been working on this for a long time. This is coming from IOI, so the people that made Hitman 3 and just the Hitman franchise in general. And that was one thing that really stuck out to me about this, is that there are a lot of Hitman isms in this gameplay demo of working through the crowd and like seeing different elements of a level that you can use to your advantage, whether it's sneaking into certain things or getting intel from people. But then I think the thing that is most exciting, because Hitman, big fan of the franchise, your boy Patrick, but the combat in that game, it's not built to be in combat. It is built to be a stealth game, to be a wear a mask game and get through as any random NPC in the environment. This game seems to be designed as an action game as well. But because it's Hitman developers, they already have those like stealth bones. And some of the things that they show in the second half of the State of Play when they're talking through it, of like the different ways that you can tackle stealth segments, seems like they're really kind of changing the formula a little bit in some ways too, which is so exciting, of like being able to like do the James Bond charm of like kind of talking your way out of situations, like just things like that just seems so cool. And James Bond, I think this is going to be a very good video game.
I'm extremely high on this. Like kind of what you mentioned at the end there. I think there's such good Hitman bones in it, because they would constantly go over. You have the option to like investigate your surroundings. Like you're presented with this obstacle and you almost have like a Batman detective mode where you're like, okay, I see that pipe leads up to the wall, so I could do it this way. There's like a later section where you get blocked off from like looking at an exhibit. You have the option to go lean up against a bar, get some information, overhear a phone call, and then in that phone call, you impersonate somebody, and that gives you access to that exhibit. And I have to imagine there's other avenues because it's this team.
Yeah.
And so it kind of combines that. Like you said, you get to be a charming Bond, and I think that at least the little snippets of the performance that we got, it's more like this young buck Bond that I'm interested in. Like I like an early, almost like a Kingsman vibe, like the film.
For sure.
I'm not familiar. I know it's an adaptation, but I'm not familiar with that part. But I get like the first Kingsman vibe as a video game a little bit.
I would agree with that,
and I cannot speak highly enough about it.
And that is a very good call. I had not connected those dots, and I agree. And I think for me, I think too, like there's something about, I think of Deathloop as an example too, that Hitman and Deathloop, I think something that they both do really well is they build this game that gives you so many options and opportunities to attack the situation the way that makes sense to you as the player. But they don't just say, okay, go figure it out. They build systems in a way that will kind of nudge you into certain areas to at least give you the idea to think, oh, there's that chandelier over there. I have this watch laser thing. I can either, cause that to come down, which will cause a distraction that I can walk past the people or whatever it may be. That at first, when I was watching this trailer, I was like, I don't know. I'm a bit concerned that there will be so many ways that I can go about it that are unclear to me that I'll end up just shooting everybody. And it's just going to become like a weird action game that doesn't really make sense. It'll have that like narrative dissonance of like, well, James Bond wouldn't just be like killing everybody.
Yeah.
But IOI was so good at that with Hitman, and Arcane was so good at it in Deathloop, where they give you these like markers in a way that kind of guide you down certain story paths to be like, okay, this could be an option to go. You could go be the chef to, do whatever, or you could go be the driver, or you could go be the doorman, whatever it is. And I think as long as they nail that with this game, I think this could be a really special video game. And like the polish on it already looks
It's
so
unreal.
good.
It's unreal. Like, I know that's technically a vertical slice, so I always try to remind myself to like temper those expectations.
For
But
sure.
it's so hard to watching this presentation. It's just an unbelievably beautiful game.
I agree. It's giving like the best parts of Uncharted in the like Uncharted 3 with the plane crash sequence. But there's like 3 moments like that in this trailer of just like really cool set piece stuff that, and this all seems to be like one elongated level. So, that's one question too. Like, how long is the game? I think I don't have a certain way that I lean that I hope for. Like, I think I'll be fine if this is an 8-hour game. I think I'll be fine if this is a 30-hour game. I am very interested to know though. And if that information's out there, I just haven't heard it yet. But Heroic Headgear in the chat also makes a very good point. It's Hitman, but with an actual good character. I think that is one thing that I've always yearned for from Hitman, is that Agent 47, because, Hitman was started in the PS2 era. And so narrative just wasn't as important then. Agent 47 has always been this like shell of a character, partially. And like they've, tried to make narrative
kind of by design. Yeah.
Kind of by design. Like there have been some narrative choices. And like there are times that Agent 47 like has a bit of like a heart and stuff. And like there's this the woman that's always like speaking in your ear. Like there have been some cool things that they've done narratively with those two. But for the most part, that game is about the experience of playing. It's very much not about like the story. The story is usually about, it almost goes like a Knives Out way, where like the story is about like the environment that they've built of this like very cool, interesting dichotomy with these different characters in this space, and like the relationships between the targets. Like that has always been the story of Hitman that has been interesting, not so much the Hitman 47 of it all. And seeing them, what seems like bringing that now to the forefront, and this is going to be a James Bond ass story with a hot fucking James Bond who is young, and I'm sure he's gonna be so charming, and I'm very, very excited for this video game. Sirius in the chat also says, just hope that motion blur changes before release or can be turned off completely, because oof. I did notice that a little bit, and I do hope that is one of those. There's only so much that you can do in a showcase. Like there's only so many settings that uploading a video to YouTube can bring over and it not be like compressed and all that kind of things. But it is a good point. I hope that they don't lean too much on that. I think it's something that is happening more and more in like AAA games of like, well, if we just like make it blurry, it'll hide some of the actual jank or whatever.
I feel like that's a common setting that has a built-in toggle. Like even on a console, I feel like that's a pretty common thing that you're able to go in and turn off. I typically don't struggle with that too much, but I did notice that in the trailer. The only time that has gotten me in recent memory is Indiana Jones.
Oh,
I had legitimate motion sickness playing that game. I had to switch it permanently to the like super widescreen, like the cinematic mode.
Yeah.
Because that full screen and the way his head bobs and the way panning the camera and stuff works, like I was ill playing that for a
Whoa.
while.
Damn,
So
that is
I've
not
never had
good.
that happen before. Never had that happen before. It's very strange.
Yeah, I don't notice those things as often myself, but I did the one that jumps to mind for me, Final Fantasy 16, I had to fuck with those settings a little bit because with like motion blur and stuff, there were times where I was like, oh boy, I do not like the way that this game is making my head feel. But then once it was off, I was like, oh, this looks even better. Why would they do this? Why would they be blurring things while I turn around? It's very strange. So this is coming early next year, March of next year. Would you say that this is one of your most anticipated games of next year yet? I think the games that we have so far that are loud for next year that I can think of off the top of my head is this and GTA 6. But I mean, there's so many more games. But
I feel like that's the main stuff on my radar right now for 26. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like this is it's Uncharted, it's Hitman, it's Splinter Cell, and it again just in a 30-minute vertical slice. It just marries all of those in a way that just itches my brain the right way. So it's like it's very high. Whatever list comes out for anticipated games next year, it's very high on that list.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, a game that came out last week that has been all the rage.
It's so high on your list.
It's so high on my list, probably top 3 at least. Hollow Knight Silksong. The launch last week was so crazy. Like it was breaking stores. It was setting all sorts of records. Right now, in our Fantasy Critic League, it is at a 98 for Cayman, who he just skyrocketed to second place with that. There's only been like 12 reviews for it, and it's all smaller sites. Like none of the bigger sites have done reviews yet. So there's still probably like 25 or 30 reviews that need to come in, but it seems like it's going to land at the very least in those mid 90s, which is very good. But I did want to bring it up to start our news spotlight segment because for those of you that don't follow us on social media or just don't pay attention to social media, over on Drop and Drop Out, we posted a reel of some edited thoughts from the last Drop and Drop Out podcast. And, it was edited in such a way that maybe took some of the nuance out of the conversation. And it is now pushing 100,000 views. And I've been getting all sorts of death threats and things because it turns out the Hollow Knight Silksong community at large, a lot of bad people in there with really mean opinions. But yeah, in that video, I said I claimed it was ugly, which they really don't like. And then poor Jordan on his side of it is like, it's just like it's more Hollow Knight, which is like that's what a sequel is. And like he was so high on it throughout the rest of the conversation, and everyone just hates him now because they're like, of course it's more Hollow Knight. That's what we fucking want. It's like, but then you go and listen to the podcast, which none of them did, and it's like, well, I find certain parts of it ugly, and Jordan has a lot of really nice things to say. But all of that to say, my biggest issue with the game is the difficulty and what I feel like is unwarranted and undeserved difficulty, specifically with like traversally stuff and like boss fighting stuff and whatnot, of like things that I think I saw Janet Garcia post on Blue Sky, like I think really encapsulated my thoughts in a really succinct way, which was the traversal and the combat in this game. Neither of them are good enough to warrant how difficult they make certain segments of this video game. It's not that it's bad. I don't think this is a bad game at all. Obviously it can't be with how well it's being reviewed. Like, some people can think it's bad, sure. But I think for me, what I take issue with is it just feels like Team Cherry made the game harder for the sake of it, rather than like for it to be like a new challenging experience. Because originally the lore is that this was supposed to just be DLC, and they're like, actually, we're going to make a whole game. And it feels like there is a very good video game in here that is hidden by just insufferable segments of difficulty in this game. So much so, the Team Cherry is releasing a patch next week to roll back some of the various elements in the game to make parts of it in the early game specifically a little easier. So there's going to be some rebalancing of the economy of rosary beads, but then also difficulty reduction for 2 early bosses, and then also some bug fixes as well. But I just thought it was so funny seeing all of the discourse about getting good and, well, if the game is just too hard for you, just say so. But then the developers are like, no, actually, maybe it's a little too hard. Is this a game that you're going to pick up, do you think, Dan?
Not anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I am like an OG Game Pass subscriber, like going back almost 10 years, I think. However long Game Pass has been around, I've been on it. And I know it's another amazing Game Pass get. I think that whatever team is responsible for Game Pass partnerships, they don't get paid enough.
Sure.
I just feel like they are so locked in on, like, obviously you get your AAA Xbox Studios day one stuff, but they add so much value in between those games coming out. So like, it's nice to know that if I am so interested in it, I'll go download it. But
Yeah.
I also really struggled with Hollow Knight. I really struggled with the what sounds like the same problems that people are experiencing with Silksong is the early difficulty, how easy it is to get lost. And like you had touched on earlier, just this month alone, there's so much stuff coming out and I also have so little free time to play.
Sure.
That if the first 3 to 5 hours are kind of a not fun experience until I get good, that's most of my gaming time in a week is 3 to 5 hours.
Sure.
So like, I might just play Fortnite with my family.
Yeah. I think that's probably the right call, at least for now.
Yeah.
But again, like I'm happy for the fans that have been waiting for this that aren't scumbags. I think
that aren't in your comment section.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, there were some people that were like, I see the point you're making and I agree, but I think ultimately what you're trying to say is this is just not a game for you. I was like, no, that is true. This is not a game for me. But if I just said that, would I've gotten 100,000 likes or views on this reel? Maybe not. But yeah, I think I'm excited that, what's going to be the next game that is the big discussion of, are we going to see it at the next every single showcase going forward? It's not going to be BioShock because that's not going to come anytime soon. So yeah, I don't know. But I'm excited that like
Judas,
it could be Judas. Could be Wolverine potentially. But that's a different conversation. Actually, that would have been a good story to talk about today. The rumored state of play at the end of September. I'm happy that it seems to be, for the people that really want more Hollow Knight, it seems to be exactly what they want, and good for them. Which we love. So a couple other headlines. Heads up, there's going to be a sizable and very important day one patch for Borderlands 4. That's according to certified good guy Randy Pitchford. So especially for people that are going to be playing day one on PC, heads up, it sounds like it's going to be dog shit without the day one patch. So make sure you get that day one patch. Also, this one made me laugh. Ghost of Yotei Studio Sucker Punch reportedly had a party when they learned that GTA 6 was being delayed to 2026. Creative director Nate Fox said they had a multi-month hangover, which is very good. I'm very excited for Ghost of Yotei, which is in like 3 weeks.
That's so crazy.
Oh, I can't wait. One day, Sony will give us review codes for things, because I'm willing to bet that review codes are coming pretty soon. For Ghost of Yotei, and people are going to start posting their little menu screens. I'm going to be reviewing Ghost of Yotei on September 30th or whatever the fuck, and I'm going to be jealous. But one day that will be us.
Right.
Machine Games, developers of the most recent Indiana Jones video game that just had their new DLC drop, has now been on the record saying that they want to go back to Wolfenstein. They want to finish up the trilogy in the future following 2017's The New Colossus. Are you a Wolfenstein guy, Dan?
I loved the first one, and it's not that I didn't like the second one, but I think I played it too close together. and I had some burnout from it.
Yeah, sure.
So I never ended up going back on the second one, but I did really like the dynamic, at least of what I remember, is like BJ is like mortally wounded at the end of the first game. And
It's been so long, I forget. Yeah.
He's held together by like a super suit, basically,
Okay.
that he dons at the end of the first game, and he's kind of like borderline surgically stuck. Like basically, if he were to leave it, he would die. And
Got
there's
it.
this whole dynamic with there's the Youngblood game that came out that nobody liked.
Yeah.
That focuses on his kids. You know that he's having kids, but and so he's like dealing with, he kind of knows it's over for him, but he's trying to hold on for his family. And I did like that. I think I just had a little bit of fatigue on it, but I do like the game. I really am concerned about a game that came out in 2017 being talked about getting a sequel. Because like, how long is it going to take to make Wolfenstein 3? And will anyone care when it's out? You know what I mean? Because there's just so much. I don't know. It's like we go so
That's
much
a really good
back
point.
and forth on like, IP is so powerful, and like we're constantly making sequels to stuff because it's so hard to create a new IP that fans of any kind of media, if it's a film, if it's a TV show, if it's a video game, it's hard to get people to move towards new IP. So I understand that, but I feel like you ride the Indiana Jones success one more time.
I bet they will.
I think you run that one more time. I just really
too.
worry about Wolfenstein 3 coming out 5 years from now, and that puts us at 2030.
Yeah, that's
what,
what, 2017
game. Yeah, I don't think Wolfenstein. I like Wolfenstein. I don't think Wolfenstein has the sauce to have like a GTA gap and still find success. Not that it needs to be a GTA success, but like there's very few franchises that can like get people back in that gap of time, I feel like.
That's fair. That's a very good point. I think my guess and my assumption is Indiana Jones has done well enough for machine games that Xbox, this is my Hail Mary throw on this, is that they're going to expand machine games. They're going to, I think, blow up and do like a multi-team situation where they have half the studio doing Indiana Jones, half the studio doing Wolfenstein. And then, like an Obsidian, we get a year where they release Avowed, Grounded 2, and The Outer Worlds 2. Like that is a future that I see for machine games, because I think, especially with the success of Doom, which obviously is different, that's id, but there's a lot of DNA between Wolfenstein and Doom. I feel like there is a place in Xbox's stable for a Wolfenstein type, and I think it's the kind of thing where it has such a specific voice that I bet Xbox is not willing to shop that out, similar to how like PlayStation won't really let people touch Uncharted. Because I don't know, but I do see, I think it's a very good point that unless there is a licensing thing with Indiana Jones, they're going to do another one.
Yeah.
So that would absolute earliest a decade from now, right? Like unless they go into like a multi-team structure.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Although Game Pass would be an interesting conversation, I feel like, with a Wolfenstein game coming out, because Wolfenstein, like Bethesda, was not under the Xbox umbrella the last time a Wolfenstein game came out.
Yeah, I know that would have been what, the next year that was it 2018 that Bethesda joined Microsoft?
I think so.
Ish, around
there. Something like along those lines. So I feel like maybe that can ease some concern about pulling people into like an old franchise if there is at least partial. I mean, obviously it would be multi-platform, but
that's true. Yeah,
I just worry about the length of time.
No, that's a very good point. We're getting to this place where especially the AAA of it all just makes a game take so fucking long to develop. And
I'm gonna have to watch a YouTube recap anyways.
I know, right?
Like I just
at least with the Wolfenstein franchise, all you really need to know, which is obvious, is that Nazis are bad and we're going to kill them.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. A few more left. Tetsuya Nomura, if Jake is still in the chat, I know he's bricked up right now. Final Fantasy's creative director says they are, quote, making great progress on Kingdom Hearts 4 and Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. In the interview, he said there would be more news around the second anniversary of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which was like last week, which is strange to me. So I'm wondering if we're going to be getting some news at some point this month, maybe the rumored September state of play, maybe we get the Final Fantasy VII Part 3 update or the Kingdom Hearts 4 update this month. Who's to say? Maybe that's my new official prediction. But
I don't believe in Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah,
I would love remake 3. I feel like Kingdom Hearts 4 is in, I don't know, they'll never call it development hell, but it feels like development hell a little bit.
It to me, it feels like, as someone who does not have his finger directly on the pulse of Tetsuya Nomura, it does feel like Final Fantasy VII Remake is getting like 80% of the attention compared to like 20 of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it'll be, let's get Final Fantasy VII Part 3 out and then just everyone full steam on Kingdom Hearts 4, get it out the next year. Like, I wonder if that might be the scope for that. And then also in the PlayStation sphere, Sony is quietly removing 200 gigabytes of storage on the digital edition of PS5 starting this month. So if you're out there listening and you're like, I've been considering getting a PlayStation, but maybe get it now instead of later, because at least the digital edition, if you're going to get the disc edition, I guess it seems like those are going to be untouched. But 200 gigabytes is a considerable amount of storage to lose for the same price, which is also now more expensive compared to 2 months ago. So,
well, and you also lose 200 to the operating system, basically. Yeah. So that's like even that smaller hard drive, you're also not getting, because there's a pretty substantial amount of it that gets eaten up by the.
Yeah, like I upgraded to the 2 terabyte PS5 Pro a few months ago, and it's not even close to 2 terabytes. It's like 1,500 because of how much shit is on this thing when you get it out the box. So that sucks. And then finally, TGS is around the corner, and Xbox has confirmed they're going to be at the Tokyo Game Show September 25th, 6 a.m. Eastern Time. There's going to be some sort of a reveal. The internet seems to think we're going to be getting Forza Horizon 6, which is also rumored to be in Tokyo. Dan,
that would be incredible.
That would be really fucking cool.
I love that
anything
series.
On your radar for Xbox at TGS?
So I would love Forza Horizon in Tokyo. That would be incredible. That's a really, really great series. One, I was trying to rack my brain because Xbox has so many studios.
Yeah.
And they're also hemorrhaging studios right now.
Yeah.
They balloon that quite a bit. But I feel like one game that I know isn't canceled that I would like to see something from is State of Decay 3. And I don't know that plays at Tokyo Game Show.
I think you're probably right, but where the fuck is State of Decay 3?
They've been very clear that we're going to learn more about Fable and Gears and stuff next year. Like they've made very concrete statements about that. I think there was one other game they mentioned that. There were like 3 that they were like celebrating anniversaries for, basically. And it was like, look for our tent poles next year. But they've been really quiet on State of Decay 3 since they announced it. I like that series. I don't think it plays at Tokyo Game Show. I don't think that's the point. But if you got Forza Horizon in Japan, what a no better way to show it off.
Yeah, I mean, historically, I don't know. I can't think of other things that they have announced at Tokyo Game Show, but I think this is their 3rd time that they're doing a showcase there. But I think it's normally smaller stuff. But I think Forza Horizon 6 in Tokyo at Tokyo Game Show would be like, I mean, that's like that crushes.
Yeah.
So I hope that that's the case. But man, I would really love the other 2 that I would love to see, but I agree with you. I don't think they fit. Is State of Decay 3 and Blade, but I don't think that fits.
Ooh, I forgot about Blade.
That's one of those things. Is like, where the fuck is Blade? I bet the next time we see that is next summer at their showcase, and we probably get like a 2027 date. But I just want to see it. What the fuck is Blade? It's like French Blade. What is that? Give me that. I want it. And that does, in fact, bring us to the end of our show. Dan, what a joyous evening. I tore you out of the hands of your family and brought you right here to twitch.tv/SpotlightGamesPod. Remind the folks, where can they find you? Where can they go to get the Dan Good Show, whether it be Twitch or YouTube, all the things?
Yes, I am literally everywhere at the Dan Good Show. Wherever you would like to be, that's where I am. YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, all of it. So stream twice a week on Twitch, and I make a monthly series on YouTube called Games to Watch. it's like your monthly video game calendar. So it's just like a broad level. Here's all the new games that I think look cool that are coming out this month.
Boom.
So
That's branding, folks, at the Dan Good Show everywhere. And of course, you can follow us at Spotlight Games Pod, or it might be easier to just go to dropindropoutpod.com. Find all of the different things. We have our grubby little grabbers and all the different shows we're doing, the streams we're doing, just like this Friday, twitch.tv/dropindropoutpod for a Borderlands 4 pod and stream with the homies. Also, Heroic Headgear, one final comment from the chat. I can feel it in my bones. State of Decay releases next year, and it's only a 3-month gap between announce and release. Those bones, I fuck with.
I do
because Rabbit128 has just been so upset at my objectively correct opinions about Silksong. Why don't we go raid Shay Noel, who is currently playing Silksong? Show her some love. Feel free to talk all the shit about me, because hey, that's engagement for her. We will be back next week. Right here on twitch.tv/SpotlightGamesPod. But thank you, Dan, again for joining the show. We'll see you next time. Until then, bye-bye.